how we operate as a board. ADE asked me to speak with them as they're working out some challenges within their school district in terms of, working together, doing those things. So I'm excited to do that. We were actually highlighted twice during the recent ADA board meeting, and that's exciting. Anytime we get positive press about the Commonwealth School District, we're excited about that. So we'll start with that. I want to talk about, we had an exciting ASBA training. We learned a lot, and just continue to grow together as a board, as we continue to work with our superintendent. I was very excited. Graduation, before we had our graduation of UAPB, and I don't know if you know, the Zoos and Lions, they work together. We appreciate that. We appreciate the thought and plan that went into that. Everything went out smooth, and it's always just good to collaborate with UAPB from the Commonwealth School District standpoint. We had financial training with First Security. We were in here three hours, I think, getting the knowledge and making sure we all on board and know what we're doing as a board, as a financial committee. I had an opportunity to participate in the 20+ ACT celebration for those students who had over 20 on the ACT, and encouraged them to go forward. And one of my most exciting events was the Teacher of the Year celebration. And they were showing videos of that earlier today, and so just excited about that. Just a quick reminder, when I went back and reviewed the video from the last meeting, I want to just remind our audience members, please, when we invite speakers up to the podium to speak, please do not ask them questions. If there's a question that needs to be asked, they come from Ms. Taylor, the superintendent, the board members, or I, ask those questions. We are, just making sure we don't have any disruption going on as we go forward. And I think we're going to be good. Again, still professional, purpose, and poised with student success in mind. And I come to you with that in the spirit of Proverbs 15:1. Proverbs 15:1. Now you notice I didn't tell you what it was, so you have to look that. Proverbs 15:1. So we're going to do well, and we're going to go forward and do with that. All right, at this time, by my view, we have a quorum. The only directors that are absent are Director Whitmore. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to stand for a moment of silence. Tonight's moment of silence is first going to start have a moment of silence for Mr. Grab and his family. We have a moment of silence for our counselors, our teachers, our parents, and our community, and really for our student district as we continue throughout the summer to continue to try to educate going forward with our extended year. After that moment of silence, we're going to have a pledge of allegiance, and then we'll continue to our agenda. We give a shout out to YouTube Land. Also, I want to give a shout out to the Zebra Athletic Club because we're talking about their partnership with us this evening and going forward. So at this time, let's stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We are called to order. All right, and now Superintendent Barkley, special recognition.
We're very excited, but I feel like we're missing several people for our special recognition tonight. So, but I'll come down to Mr. Carl to join me.
All right, good afternoon. Or good evening. What time is it? But I'm Assistant Superintendent Philip Carlock, and we want to recognize our students that are here for special awards, special superintendent recognition. So when I call your name, will you please come up? We have Mackenzie Sprinkle for Outstanding Student Leadership at 34th Elementary School. Mackenzie here. And we have for Dr. Wilson. Will you accept this for her? We have Jordan Williams for outstanding leadership at Pine Bluff Junior High School. Is Jordan Williams here? So we have a representative from Pine Bluff Junior High. Okay, we'll get that to them. We have Micaiah Cole for outstanding leadership at Pine Bluff High School. Dr. Lawrence?
And just a heads up, our students were out of school today, so
Yeah.
they may still be out of town. Thank you, Dr. Lynn. Yes.
And we have Amanda White from Southwood.
You made it back, from your long vacation.
On your day off. Thank you for coming.
Congratulations.
Okay, next we want to recognize our outstanding community members for showing their stripes. We have Hazel Dunlap Craig for your support and dedication to 34th Elementary School. Right here. Next we have Sierra Williams for
Thank you so much.
Next, we have a lot of middle names and middle initials. I'm glad y'all don't know mine. Frank D. Dorsey for your support and dedication to Southwood Elementary. You may want to hold that pose because this is Southwood as
You
well.
want to stay? Okay, I stay right up here with you.
We have John Barnell for your support and dedication to Southwood Elementary. So, Southwood Principal, you want to come on?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much. All your support. Dr. Wise.
That's a zero. All right. Oh, that's not the strike on the screen. All right. So next, we want to recognize our honorable retirees from Pine Bluff School District that have, we just want to recognize them for their commitment and hard work, pouring into so many lives and students in our district and just into education. So I was told by Ms. West, I'm gonna share. Yes, you want to share? Okay. Your bell will be coming. I've learned that that's a tradition in Pine Bluff, so you will receive a bell. They're on order, but they weren't here in time for the meeting. So your bell is on the way.
And I'll add to that. So the bell tradition was something that was halted, and we don't know for what reason. However, the thing is that we're not allowed to use district money to purchase the retiree bells. That's something that's not allowed with tax dollar money. So Ms. West, along with the volunteers and different people in the community, donated the money so the bells could be purchased for our retirees.
Can't buy illegal bells.
No illegal bells.
Debbie Reed for your, it didn't put the number of years, but maybe if you want to share. Debbie Reed for your outstanding contribution and service with Pine Bluff School District. Next we have Evelyn Shorter.
Shorter.
Harriet Warren. Everyone there? They are.
Yeah, teachers are off today too.
Yeah.
That's right.
Marcia West.
West.
Gerald Williams. All right. Might call him, tell him to get on up here. Deborah Yu. Barbara Boyce.
Boy. Ms. Boyce, do you want to share how many years?
38 years. 30 years in this district.
All right, all right.
You mind staying up here until we call all of them? Okay. Carrie Campbell.
Here, Campbell.
Karen Clark. Pamela Dorn. Daryl Martin. Helen Thomas McLemore. Philip Carlock. Pamela Neal.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We may need to, we'll recognize them again when they get their bells as well. Thank you so much, Board.
All right, thank you, Superintendent Barber. All right, moving on, we're gonna move to section board members, adoption of the minutes. You had an opportunity to review the regular board minutes for the regular board meeting April 28th and the special call board meeting from May the 5th. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the regular board meetings April 28th and special call board meeting May 5th. The move to probably second, ready for question? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye for me, all opposed say no. The ayes have it. Thank you. All right, moving on to our financial report.
Good evening, Board. So in our financial report, it is, as it normally goes, the first link that you have on your documents shows the local revenue and collection breakdown. So draw your attention to that just to talk about, this is for, it's the sheet that looks like this. This is up until April, so you see that our collections for April that we received, but I will say that we got in May's collections today, so they won't be reflected there. So today, we received $3.5 million in collections for May, so we'll have one more month of collections to take from there. The next link that you have is your board report, all funds for period 1 through 10, we're in period 10. And so that's the one that shows you every revenue and every expenditure from the beginning of the year until now, or from July 1 until now. If you recall, in our financial training, Mr. Beardsley stated, you know, we have received more, our tax dollars, more than what was predicted. And so you can expect to see that state foundation funding to be lower. It's not, you don't see it reflected here, but that's something that will be lower by that close to $1 million because of the tax dollars coming in. The next report is the board report for all funds in this current period, and this is again just showing you what came in and out just for the month of April. The next, I'd like to bring your attention, well, on that one though, I will say the building fund, I do want you to pay attention to that bond issue 2023. It shows you the fund, the actual number is 3001. It shows you that we have $44,166,000 in the bond issue, and later when we get to that report, there's a specific report that you want to make sure that matches, that what we say is in the building fund for the bond issue is still what we have showing in our records. Again, the next item is your bank reconciliation, and the big positive there is we still have zero variance. We continue to keep that zero variance. You have the check register. It's a little bit smaller this month of April, which is good. We've told most of our spending has curbed because we tried to cut spending at this point because we're trying to make sure we're wrapping up the year and getting ready for next school year. So that's something that the business office is on a need, like just specific need basis that we're doing those expenditures now, because most everyone should have everything they need for the classroom as we're wrapping up the end of the school year. That next, under the building project reports, the report that I was telling you to pay attention to is that
board report for Fund 3001, that 44,166,000, it matches here as it does in the board report. The next link where it says bond proceeds registered, that's our document that we keep up with to show how the bonds proceeds have, what we've gotten as a credit. So basically when it came in, the interest that is accrued through that month, and as well as the debits that we take out of that bond issue. And so if you look at the very bottom, the summary shows that we have the 44,166,000. It matches in all three places. If I'm going too fast, I'll slow down. And then the last document is that total project cost. And so that's where you'll see so far how much we've spent on our building project, and that includes architect fees and construction fees.
All right, board, you've seen and received the financial report and summary from Superintendent Barbary. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the financial report as presented. The moving properly second, ready for question? Any questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye for me, all opposed say no. The ayes have it. All right, moving on to our board committee reports. Tonight, I'll again start with, I guess, the executive committee, just highlighting the training we recently received from the ASBA, highlighting the training that we received with First Security, and just, you know, as we just continue to just get better at the things that we do, using the resources that are available. Those are my only updates I would like to see. I did see a post, and maybe Superintendent Barbara is going to talk about that, about volunteers are needed for the Pine Junior High School House Olympics on Friday, May 30th. So hopefully we'll spread the word about that. But for the most part, as it relates to the executive committee, we've been busy. We've been learning. We've been accumulating those training hours, you know, to show that we are approved and can do what we need to do as part of the board. So that's really my report. We're going to talk a little bit about elections.
I have it on this, yes.
Okay, that's fine. All right, next I'd like to go to Director Edwards, your report.
Okay, so the Student Affairs and Policy Committee met in my absence on May the 13th, but they outlined several instructional initiatives for the 25-26 school year. For the high school, they're looking to implement, or we're looking to implement an AP Pre-Calculus class, AP Computer Science Principles. Junior high will be a freshman seminar, and drama. Academic partnerships were discussed that include ongoing collaborations with both UAPB and CR, and we are exploring new associate degree pathways and expanding concurrent dual credit options for students. Next, curriculum work is underway. We're exploring the Quaver Music K6 to build consistency across schools and support interest in upper level music. And we're also reviewing curriculum and instructional resources for that program. We're in the process of pre-AP planning to introduce pre-AP algebra, biology, English at Pine Bluff Junior High, and visual and performing arts. And we have 2 teachers that participated in the DESE Access Math sessions for grades 5 through Algebra 1. Last, professional learning and standards is underway, and we're requesting summer professional learning opportunities that include training for the 95% literacy resources, and the Student Affairs and Policies teams has identified priority standards and will continue to work on curriculum pacing. That's all for my report.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Director Edwards? All right, moving on again, I guess I'll talk about the Finance Committee. We met as a group for those individual trainings with First Security to learn more about the bonds, to learn more about budgets. It was very informative. I appreciate the board members coming out to do that. I think the more and more, and I think I said this during the meeting, the more and more we do this, the more and more I understand about where those actual dollars go, you know, because we want to be informed as a board so we can inform the public. So we make sure they know was an innuendo about, you know, what's happening with the money in terms of fidelity, and we just appreciate being in good standing, you know, with our check registers and with our finances, which I think is key as it relates to the school district. You always start with the money, and so that's really my only report from the finance committee. I know that we'll be doing additional trainings in the future, you know, to make sure that we're all, you know, up to speed about how those tax dollars are used to move the school district forward. So, all right, Director Whitmore is absent tonight, so he's not going to present a report. So I always save the best for last. Director Cole. Oh, I'm sorry, Director Lockett. Legislative Affairs.
Like I said, did everyone have a chance to read the Act 503? We're going to discuss that tonight.
Okay.
Okay. It's very interesting. It's going to change a lot of things for us, but nevertheless, we'll discuss it, we'll get it done.
Okay.
In our report.
Okay. Thank you. All right, Director Cole.
Good evening. And I guess everyone always waits on our report for facilities because it's the newest. I guess it's the newest kid on the block. But we have some new things to talk about tonight. I think we're gonna, and Dr. Barber is probably gonna reinforce what I talk about. But we're still working. We're getting ready to close the tracks. I think start working on it, and she has the date for that. We're gonna do some other athletic. That's part of our athletic upgrades. We also are adding working on purchasing a roof for the warehouse. I don't know if y'all realize we have a warehouse over on, Walnut. And we also are renovating some rooms in Greenville for the new kindergarten students. So we walked over today. The paint looks nice. They got to work on the floors a little bit, but it's coming around. And last but not least, we'll have a high school update on the building from, Sean, I almost forgot your name. We've been hanging out together all day today, so. But I guess you can go ahead and get started, and then whatever questions we have at the end, you can answer.
All right, Board, we appreciate the opportunity as always to come and present the progress and updates that we've got going, and we'd be very happy if y'all can slow down on the rain dance just a little bit. It's been a really wet day for us, but we're pushing forward and continuing to make progress. So I'll get us started here. Going around like normal. So this is coming out the front of the building, as you can see on that screen. Starting a little more steel in, starting to infill a little bit of the walls over here in that would be the very northeast corner of the building. The slab you see in here is where the new cafeteria will be. We've got a little bit of a road through the middle that we're using for access steel. You can start to see the framework come in for the slab. This is moving around to the safe room, which will be the practice gym as well. You can see we're preparing the roof, and this it gets a concrete roof deck poured over the top as well, so we were preparing for that. This is the CTE building, again, where welding and cosmetology will be. We're starting to get roofs on now, so we're getting a few of the buildings into the drives. We're starting to move forward. You're starting to see some of the roof decking going down right here and prepared for the second floor that you'll see for the main classroom wing coming in. As you can see, we're kind of getting more steel in, a few of the bar joists starting to come in here as this leads out to the media center off to your left. Our masons are continuing to work over in the northeast corner, starting to infill the rest of the classrooms in that area. We've got a lot of our steel staged out in front of the building. Most of that is going to be for the second floor of the classroom space, so you'll start to see that really take shape as we move into this next month. Getting a lot of the bar joists set as we come down through here. You can see the cafeteria really taking shape. That'll really be the full area for the dining for students. To the background over here, that is the auditorium. You can kind of see it's kind of coming on up. We're going to give you a quick view down inside. This is the footings for where the arena will be. We're starting those concrete pours this week. And this is actually going inside the practice gym. Again, this is a safe room. It will house all of the students and teachers and administrators in the event of an emergency situation. But as you can see, it's all concrete reinforced roofs and walls. Kind of another view coming around the cafeteria, starting to get a little more of the sidewall panels in on both ends. You'll notice there's no longer rebar showing up here. We did pour the roof. We get the second layer of concrete that ties the entire roof structure together. And we're starting the masonry walls over here on the side of the auditorium as well. And a lot more of the bar joists getting in. We're getting ready to start laying decking, kind of coming down the rest of the classroom wing, which will allow us to finish those pours and really start the second story in the near future. You'll notice the roof is completed on the CTE building at this point. So that's helping us get that building in the dry, continuing to work on some of these rain days. And again, a little more masonry going up. You can see the main auditorium, which is the metal frame, and then the classroom wing off to the inside towards, it's starting to come up with the masonry walls here. So, like I said, we're pretty soon, we'll have roofs on everything, or at least the second floor starting on everything, which is going to keep us a little more in the dry, so we'll be all right. We certainly appreciate it. Any questions at this time?
Any questions? Doing the dig, good. Okay, that was it. That's my report.
All right, thank you, Director Coleman. Any comments, Superintendent Barton? I know you all just attended the meeting.
No,
You want to share?
it was a good meeting. We're still continuing the conversation board about the athletic upgrades. And so what you'll expect to see in June for sure is the, hopefully the opportunity to start doing, the bidding the next few weeks coming up. I have that in my report, so I'll talk about it just for
All right, thank you. All right, moving on. I'm sorry, did I? Okay, no, I didn't. PBC, you're up. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm extremely brief tonight. We don't have anything to present to you. Just to recap, that we did have our week with you guys on, was that last week, I think it was? And so we'll be taking those things in our last meeting of the year and kind of taking a final look or so at that multi-year contract offering. And so hopefully we can iron that out with, again, the conversation that we had with you guys, as well as Superintendent Barberie. I know we have to set a date so we can look at the data points for our teacher effectiveness area piece. And so other than that, that's all we have.
Any questions for PBC, for board members? Thank you very much. All right, moving on to our superintendent's report.
All right, thank you so much, board.
As always, I still want to continue to reiterate the decisions that we make and the way that I'll do the reporting will always be in the 6 systems, and those systems and those decisions that are made are based on students. And so everything we do academically, every decision we make, all the committee reports, all the conversations that we have is going to be student-centered focused. And so I'm excited that all the different things that we've talked about tonight so far absolutely impact what is going to be great for our students. That goes from finance to facilities and moving forward. So tonight, there are several things I do want to share with you. Under academics, we have district common formative assessments and a little bit of data that we have for that. Ms. Rawls is here, and she's going to just talk us through some of that. As you know, part of one law is that we discuss some academic data at every board meeting. And every board meeting, we try to be pretty consistent about what we show. And so remember the district common formative assessment, this will be our 3rd one, even though we're calling it DCFA 4, because the 3rd one we skipped because it was right during the middle of our Atlas summative assessment, and so we didn't do it then. Ms. Rose, are you ready? I am. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
The first screen you see is the district averages for the DCFA. So the last time we reported on the DCFAs, what you see in blue was the average compared to last year's DCFA. We didn't do a quarter four DCFA this last year, so we don't have a comparison. But as you can see, we haven't tested all the students yet. We're still doing the testing next week. But our data is trending upward in our average, our overall average on the assessment. I'm especially note in ninth grade ELA, the average is at 73% right now with the number of kids who tested. We also see that at first grade, we're at 70%, and there's quite a few kids, and 70% in math, who have tested in first grade. So that average is trending well. It's probably about where we're going to be at for math. So these are our average. Our goal is to see, if you see at the top, to have the 75% is proficient, 60% to 74% is basic, and then limited is anything less than 59%. So we're shooting for those averages to be at 75%, between 74 and 60 when we talk about basic. But we're showing a lot of growth toward that second tier. And what I did is I went back and relabeled the performance levels to align with the Atlas now. So in the Atlas assessment, students are considered advanced and proficient. That's level 3 and 4. And basic is a level 2, and limited is a level 1. So now I've aligned our categories to go along with Atlas.
Scroll down. And while she's scrolling, I'll say, board, the district CFA, so since it's the last semester, when it's the last test that we're gonna take for the school year, it encompasses those priority standards from the beginning of the school year, middle of school year, and end of school year. So it has all those, it's cumulative, yes, it has all those standards on that DCFA.
That's right. So here we have, by grade level, the number of students who are proficient based off those scores that I just talked to you about at the top. And as you can see, in second grade ELA, we have 14% of our kids right now being proficient and 24% of them being basic. We haven't tested all the kids. There's still also students that need to be tested, but 45 plus 27 is more than 24 plus 33. So we know we have more kids that's gonna be proficient with basic, even though we don't have it just by those raw numbers, that number will increase. And then if you scroll down, the one that I'm most excited about is kindergarten math. We didn't test kindergarten last year in math, but this year we did, and still haven't tested all the students, but even not. So when I calculate the averages, I calculated it based off the number of students tested that's in that grade level. So that 40%, even though we haven't tested all in the kindergarten, still represents 40% of the kindergarten being proficient right now in math. So I'm so excited about that. And we only have 7% of those students who were tested who were limited in that. So that's a huge increase from when they took the screener at the beginning of the year. And so you can look at the other data. We are trending upward, and we showing growth in most areas. And so I will meet with teachers tomorrow to identify our priority standards. Going forth next year, we will use this data to decide if we need to move some things upward, if we need to take some standards out. This will support making those decisions in our pacing for the next school year.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Rawls? Thank you, Ms. Rawls.
You're welcome.
The next item that I have under academics that I'd like to share with the board, Mr. Sims, if you don't mind clicking on that, it's just a document that Ms. Rawls, Mr. Carlick, and our team have been working on. I kind of want to explain just a few things. It's under, I'm sorry, the second one, it says the third grade literacy retention readiness plan. So, stay right there for me, Mr. Sims. So this is our readiness plan, but on that where it says in response to the LEARNS Act, Mr. Sims, do you mind clicking on that link? Just that, yes. So I've copied just a section of the LEARNS Act and included it here. for you all to see what this means. So obviously, LEARNS Act was enacted last school year, and it affects, so if you scroll down to the bottom of that, the actual law right there says, for each student who does not meet the reading standard established by the state board by the end of 3rd grade, including students who are promoted with good cause exemptions to the 4th grade, during the summer and the school year, the public school district or open enrolled public charter school in which the student is enrolled shall. And so we have to provide at least 90 minutes of evidence-based literacy instruction aligned to the science of reading. And then there's several things that have to be done for those students. And so we're still waiting. If you keep going, I've highlighted that law for you, just that section of it. But it does say that the Department of Education will, the Division of Elementary and Secondary Education will promulgate rules, and so they're working on the rules for this act. But what we have been told so far, what that looks like, where it says students that do not score according to what the literacy standard should be, we've been told that any student in 3rd grade that scores on a level 1, they would be considered those students that do not meet that readiness level. And so this would be on next school year's end of year summative, Atlas summative. So what we are doing as a plan for that, if you don't mind, Mr. Sims, going back just to that other document that you came from. What we're doing right now specifically, this is just kind of an outline plan that I wanted to share with you as the board, and then, you know, we would be sharing these things with our parents and our community. We already have early identification process. We're continuing to use the Atlas data, every bit of that DCFA data, common formative assessment, all that data we're utilizing right now to help us identify students. We have students in intervention groups right now in K1, 2, and 3. And if you think about it this for me, so next year, it's gonna be our 2nd graders this year that are gonna be our 3rd graders next year that this law will start with. And so of those in 2nd grade, we did a real big push. Board, you realize this, when they were in kindergarten, we started with really following them with that K2 assessment data. So they've been assessed since kindergarten on their readiness skills and that foundational literacy. They've been in what we call WIN groups. We know that our dyslexia interventionists are also supporting them through another program called BUILD, which is a program that they have specific interventions that they're doing for our students in kindergarten and 1st grade and 2nd grade, to ensure that we're trying to prepare them in 3rd grade. So when it talks about all the different things that we're doing there, we use evidence-based literacy instruction. Of course, we purchased the 95% group along with all the 95% group interventions. Teachers are trained in that. We continue to have training. You're gonna see another purchase today about more training for that. We have a multi-tiered system of support. We make sure that we're looking for core instruction, small group instruction, and then we have that intensive individualized support for students. And we're monitoring that right now. That's part of the progress that we do. And this is, even though we say 3rd grade, we're doing that K-12. I mean, as far as monitoring students in that way. We have ongoing professional development for teachers within the, like we had 95% group coaching this year that came into the district and classrooms to support that. But moving forward, I do want to share, so as in planning for next school year, we need to understand what that good cause exemption is, an alternative pathway. So that's more training and more support that we'll be providing for our principals and our teachers on what that looks like as far as students, what the law lines out as a good cause exemption. And then we'll develop a system of support for those students. Even though they may be exempt, they're still going to have a 90-minute literacy block if they score level 1 on that test. It's required by the LEARNS Act that we communicate with families, and then the department is creating a read at home plan. Like, I'm actually on that committee through the state level, so that we're providing input. There's several administrators that are on that committee providing input to that DESI committee, saying these things should be provided to parents and not provided. So that read at home plan is not completely developed yet, but I am part of that committee for this state. And so we kind of have a hand in knowing what's going on with that. It's a pretty good, easy document for parents to read and what they can be doing at home to help students. We also are required to inform families about tutoring that's available through the State Department for their students, that we get that. And then we're going to strategically support students. So the data that we have this year at the end of year, that'll help us strategically place students at the very beginning of next school year in either interventions in a certain class where they'll get that certain support. So they'll have all that outlined prior to even taking the Atlas Summative. And while they're in those courses or in those classes with those teachers, then we'll be monitoring that for their growth in their individual, in those small groups and individual growth supports. Because the goal would be that they don't, that they go ahead and score higher than the level 1. However, then when we think about the next school year, if those students do score in a level 1, those that do, then what do we have in place to support those students? Well, the goal is not to retain all of them. Law says that they would be retained unless we could provide other opportunities for them. And so that's making sure that we have highly effective literacy instruction teachers, which they're going through that training now. We have several teachers that are going through that master training. And then making sure that we have an elementary schedule in 3rd grade and 4th grade that allows for that 90-minute literacy block. And so that's some things continuing forward to move with that. But it's not all, there's a lot of things that are in place that we're going to continue to move forward, but it's all going to be based on monitoring. Because if we see that it's that intervention or that thing's not working for those students, then we have to adjust and try something else. But I wanted to make sure I shared that. Do you have any questions about our readiness plan right now?
I have one. So if they don't make this level 1, are they retained for the entire grade or just reading?
Well, when you retain someone, you have to retain them for that grade level. So they would repeat the grade unless we can put them with we can show that they're exempt because of certain issues. And we can put them with a highly effective literacy teacher in 4th grade that would be working with them to keep them from being retained. But it would be the whole grade. You don't just get retained for just the subject.
So have you all seen it happen where a student is slower at reading but does well in maybe math and something else? Or is that not?
If you see that in most cases, then, well, it would be possibly a learning disability in reading, and then you would treat it for that, whether it be dyslexia or special services in a different way, SLD. That's true. Okay, good. Thank you, Mr. Sims. The next bullet, I wanted Ms. Williams to make sure she was updating you guys on our Atlas Summative assessment. So this is about our individual summative.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This presentation is an overview of where we are with our summative assessments for the end of the year. This slide pretty much shows who the building test coordinator is for each building. In some buildings where there was some extra support, such as Pine Bluff Junior High, the counselor, Ms. Yvette Johnson, Ms. Delisha Jones, is what that should say, who is the instructional facilitator, assisted with Mr. Pearson on testing. Ms. Nicole Anderson served multiple campuses, and some names that I didn't list before, not intentionally, they have been added. AP testing, Ms. Melissa Rice and Ms. Donna Shepard have taken care of that for us. And with DLM, the dynamic learning maps, the assessment that our students who have special needs take, that is done by our special services teachers. And in some cases, Ms. Tanya Smith has administered those assessments as well at some campuses. I call this slide Celebrate Good Times, Come On, because all of our schools are at 95% or higher. Forest Park is at 100%, Broadmoor is at 100%, Janice Matthews is missing one student. It is medical related, so they are greater than 95%. Southwood, 100%. 34th, 100%. Pine Bluff Junior High, 2 students medically, 2 students who are not doing state testing. They are in special services. And there were 2 students who were not tested. They are above 95%. Pine Bluff High is greater than 95%. They will be 100% after the ACE window. I'll talk about that more. Pine Bluff High is only missing 1 student, and it was medical related. For our dynamic learning maps assessment for our special services students, we tested every student except for one student who has a special circumstance, so he is exempt, so we are 100%. And we are finished with AP testing, with the exception if some students have to do a makeup or something of that nature. So we are in a good place. The percentages for each campus have been updated. If you click on this document, the logo and the slideshow, it shows you the percentages for each grade level at each campus. If you notice, for example, I'll use Southwood Kindergarten. If you cannot see it, it shows that they have 51 students, but 50 students completed the test. So it has them at 98.4%. However, they are actually 100%. This student actually started the assessment, tried to test him on multiple days. It was too much for him, and the State Department allowed us to waive his assessment. So it's showing that way in the system, but it will not show that way at the end. And so what I wanted to tell you about this document, it gives you those specific details. For example, I went on to 10th grade. If you look at the top row where it says Atlas ELA, 215 students, but it's showing that 208 students completed the assessment. One student finished the assessment but did not click submit, so it auto submits after day 5. You don't see your credit for it right now. You see it when the summative scores come, when the summative scores are returned August 1. 5 students are at the Juvenile Detention Center. They are not our students. They came from another district, and they enrolled after May 12th. They were enrolled like the day before testing ended, and we are exempt from testing them. So something for us to remember, in the testing window, the first Monday of the testing window, whatever you have in e-school, and the last Monday of the testing window, whatever you have in e-school, you are responsible for those students. These students were enrolled after the last Monday in the testing window, and time wouldn't allow us to test them because we only had one day. And then there's still one student that is medical. So when you see on the slide, Pine Bluff High is gonna be 100%, but you come over here and you see 208, we have taken the time to dig in and find each one of those students for each school to see where they are and make sure we have not missed a mark. And for our secondary campuses, because the numbers were fluctuating, you'll see these growth charts to the right-hand side where it shows how they increased over time every time we check the numbers to see where we were with testing. And I'll just go backwards. Pine Bluff Junior High is looking good. 6th grade across the district is looking good. 5th grade is looking good. 4th grade is doing well. 4th grade at James Matthews, you see 91%, but that is because 6 4th graders did not do the submit. It timed them out. They tested all day. They tested before lunch, had lunch, came back and tested some more. And so they didn't click the submit button, so it auto submitted for them. We have confirmed that with the State Department. So they are going to show it 100% at the end, just not right now, but we are in a good place. 3rd grade is looking good. Every school is at 100%. And so we're doing well. The next thing that we have that we're working on right now is reasons not tested. These are the codes that we can use to code students. We have to complete this by May the 30th. Once this is completed, the 8th window will open in August. So right now, I just have to put in the code. But in August, we will have to actually upload evidence. So for example, Pine Bluff High had a student who did not test for medical reasons. And we were trying to get a doctor's note. And I asked Nurse May Hawkins Coleman, I think, and the school nurse support the family, and the school nurse, social worker reached out to the doctor. We have all the evidence we need to be where we need to be in the long run and to allow this baby to be exempt from her test. And so those evidence pieces we are collecting. So if you click This link, and I want you to know I have the names blacked out for the sake of confidentiality tonight. This is Pine Bluff High. There is a tab for each school where you see, I have blacked out the column. Those are actual students' names. But for every test that the students did not take, we have gone through to mark whether or not we need a code from them, for them, if it's medical, and if you see the student at the bottom that's medical, her letter is on my desk. I'm gonna be scanning and linking it here. And the reason we're linking all the evidence here, so when we get to August, anything could happen. We don't want a folder or anything to get lost or something to get shredded, but we have it hard copy and digitally so we can upload what we need to upload for the ACE window for each campus. And there is a tab for each school. I'll use Broadmoor as an example. They're at 100%. This baby was enrolled on the 21st. Testing ended on the 16th. So his scores are the responsibility of the district he came from. But he's showing up right now, so we need to have this documented in case we're asked about it. Aside from reasons not tested, our affidavit for submission saying that we've administered all of our assessment, nobody made any copies, or we haven't had any irregularities and things that we have not reported. I and Dr. Barbary have signed off on that today. It will be sent to the State Department tomorrow. We're going to utilize the state testing windows for next year. This is a link to the commissioner's memo. But if you click the attachment at the bottom, this tells us when all assessments will take place next year. So after we do reasons not tested, we will actually be building the assessment calendar for the 2025-2026 school year. So we will have that by the close of June. And then we will make sure we have the ACE documentation ready for August 2025 when the ACE window opens on August the 4th. That's the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Williams.
All right, you're welcome.
So as you see, board, there's no concern of not making our 95% assessment. Next on my superintendent update is under district operations and fiscal governance. I do want to update you on Act 503. That's just the same law that we talked about last month at the April board meeting. However, what I provided at your seat, Ms. Shelton gave you at your seat, is just some documentation that we received. I actually got it today from Arkansas School Boards Association, and it just talks about the declaratory order that was made. Now, of course, the order is actually, you can click on that, and you should have gotten it in your email as well, but I can forward it to you. But what this talks about is the impact that we're going to have on when the election cycle will take place. So just to let you know, we have on our website, we have the link that shows every board member and when their term is up. And so the way that the terms are set now is there will be no election this November, which we talked about that last month, but that election has been moved to March 26th. But not only is that board seat up in March 26th, the person that would be up for election in 26 will also be up for election in March 26, and the board seats that are for 27 will also be up for election in 26. And so the way that falls with our lots, that means 4 board members will be up for election March of 2026. Then what that leaves, the other 3 board members, if you look at what this regulatory says, the next 3 board members who are up in 28 and 29 will all be up for election in March of 28. And so that would be 7 board members within basically the 4 years. Now, what we still have to decide as a board is, do we want to do 4-year terms or 6-year terms? And I don't have that on the agenda for tonight, but that's some more discussion I think we need to have with how that would look as far as a 4-year term and a 6-year term. If you did everyone, of course, next in March of 26, those will come up again if we did a 4-year term in March of 32. No, 30, and then the 28s would be 32, yeah. So I just wanted to make sure you have this for reference. It does say that we're not required, one of the questions that we had, we're not required to redraw lots as long as we are okay with how this is balanced when we have our, when we start moving forward. So, yes.
Yeah, thank you for this, and I knew it was something that I was supposed to be doing today. I missed the webinar on the SBA website, so I'm hoping that they have saved it. And then we can still log on to the SBA website, watch it, and still get credit for that professional development. But I do think we're gonna need, and I circled there was a point in, about legal counsel, about making sure that we review whatever those decisions are with our legal counsel. So I do think we need to schedule another training just to really dig a little deeper to really understand what this means, and so we're all on the same page, as well as the community can be all on the same page with what the law says and where we are as a board. So thank you for sharing.
And we could schedule a governance committee meeting with everyone before the June board meeting if you want, so that we can have, and I can get legal and ASB, I could get Lucas on there and possibly Cody on there as well, so that we can just discuss what we want to do moving forward. I'll work on that. Thank you. Under facilities and transportation, I do want to say that, and we'll post this after tonight, I will be posting this on our website, but our track will be closed June 9th. There will be no, our community, like, they use the track, and that's something that we do share with the community. However, we're going to begin the resurfacing process starting then, so we need to make sure that we let the community know that the track will be closed starting June 9th. Hopefully, it won't take very long. I mean, I think we're thinking, Sean, I don't know, how long is that process? I forgot to ask.
It's about 4 to 6 weeks. So,
So it shouldn't be closed.
1st of August, we'll be looking to get it back online.
Okay, thank you, Sean. So 1st of August, so I didn't put an opening date, but we'll keep the community updated throughout the board meetings as part of our facilities update. The next thing is on here real quick is we're gonna begin the bidding process for the athletic upgrades in the next few weeks, and so I want the community to be looking for that in the newspapers and all the ways that we'll advertise that for the athletic upgrades. We'll be looking for subcontractors to do parts of those things, and so that's coming up. And then Dr. Colin talked about our kindergarten center, and so we have all the mold and mildew has been removed. They've done that part of it. Then we've also had the painting. They were painting the last classroom today. The next step is there's a few pieces of tiles on the floor that need to be replaced, and then they're gonna strip and wax the floors. And then technology will come in after that, starting to make sure that we have the panels up for the teachers and things like that, and then we'll start moving in the teachers. So we're on target for that. My drop date was June 1 for the maintenance to be finished so that we could start doing floors, and so I was pleased with maintenance. Our maintenance crew did a good job trying to get everything done, Mr. Franklin. So, and Ms. Peoples has been keeping me updated, and she sends a weekly email saying these are the things that have been done, and these are the things we're still waiting to get done. So we also walked and looked at the playground at the Forest Park Greenville today, and so I want you to be prepared for some upcoming purchases for some more playground equipment to add to that, which is not something just because of kindergarten. We knew we needed a little bit more playground anyway, and so this is something that'll be coming before you as well. Ms. Peoples is working to get another quote. We have 2 quotes, but we need 3. We want to get a good 3rd quote as well. So.
For the playground, will that be in addition to or
in addition to what's out there now. Now, there'll be some replacing of mulch and things like that in certain areas, but as far as the equipment itself, it's in addition to what we have out there. Under human capital, our teachers will have a professional development day, June 9th. Capturing Kids' Hearts, we're implementing year 2 of Capturing Kids' Hearts, and that's in your board packet today to start that training this summer. We have some things going on at the co-op this summer as well, and then we're also going to have specific dates for just our district that they'll be able to participate in. And and I wanted to bring this to your attention because this was something I shared, that we are working on reorganization of some of the classified positions in the district. Some of those positions have been posted as far as paraprofessionals and things like that. We're still working on the administrative assistant and secretarial positions and those postings. However, there's probably gonna be a possibility that some of those employees that were employed will not be offered a contract next school year. And so in support and effort to help them, I've scheduled a worker assistant workshop with the Department of Workforce. Ms. Donna Harris and her team will be here on June 17th. And once all those details are really lined out, I'll make sure I share that with the district's employees so that they can be a part of that workshop to help with making sure moving forward. Under student support, I have a real quick video that I wanted to share with our Pine Bluff High Gentlemen's Club. Mr. Tom Scott works, it's not gonna work because is it working? Yeah, and you may have to turn the volume on. Will it play volume from there, Mr. Sims? I didn't think to ask you that. It should.
Have people to deal with me. I didn't have leadership. I didn't have nobody to encourage me to wear a tie, put a bow tie, dress up. I didn't have that. Gentlemen's Club is awesome. It's dynamite. I love working with young men, trying to make sure they dress like they're supposed to dress, make sure they act like they're supposed to act. It's just awesome. I see the need. I see they need attention. And when I see they need attention, I try to jump in and try my best to help them get them where they need to be. I've been doing this for 30-something years, and guess what? I'm not tired yet.
A group of kids can go from not doing so much in school to leading the city, showing the city what Pine Bluff High School has to offer, and just making a name for themselves, also helping the school. I thank Mr. T.W. Scott so much because he mentored me, he helped me with my communication skills. At the start of the year, I wasn't ready for this role as president. He convinced me. I feel as if my skills have been boosted. I took him to the next level, and I thank him so much for that. I'd also seen him help another young man who was kind of slacking off. He didn't have the right motivation, and then in the next couple months, he was ready. He was coming to school with a purpose, dressing up almost every day, speaking to everybody, smiling, communicating well, and I was just shocked. And from then on, I knew this is what I wanted to be a part of.
I would like to be a part of the Gentlemen's Club, not only because of the work they do in the community, but just from stuff Adam has told me, like helping individuals in the school. With this being my first year part of the club, I'm hoping to grow not only my speaking, my leadership, as well as helping individuals in my community. The way Mr. T.W. carries himself, he's like a role model to us at the school.
We can always look up to that person brings the energy that we need so we won't ever fall off. And even if we do fall off, we get right back on track. I'm here every day. I walk around this campus every day. I see the young men that we have, and I see their potential. I see them be so much better. So that's why I want to bring them into this club. I don't really think that they have what they need outside of school. That's why I'm working with Mr. T.W. Scott. I'm working with the Vice President because I want to help them find that role model that they need.
For people like young men without father figures, the Gentlemen's Club is a good outlet.
They're gonna be great leaders one of these days. You got to live a life that somebody like me to follow behind me. If I live a life like that because they see some good in me, they will try to invest in me. And that's what I want to do. I want to see some good in some of our young men, but I'm able one day to invest in them.
To be frank, I hear that we're dirty, we don't know much, we can't do anything, we come from a small city.
The stereotypes at this school, not only do they come from outside the school, they also come from inside the school.
The club is here to break that. The club is here to change that. The way that we affect this school, this community, this city, the way that we help, it will just force people to change their minds and just think, hey, maybe Pine Bluff kids are not so bad.
I want to thank our superintendent, Dr. Jennifer Barberie, our assistant superintendent, Mr. Carla, Mr. Greg, our principal, Dr. Ronald Lewis. I love the team. Watch out. Stay tuned. The Gentlemen's Club is on fire.
Thank you, Mr. Sims. It is such a good thing, and this falls really under student support and stakeholder and community engagement because what Mr. Scott does is he seeks out support from community members who donate things for the Gentlemen's Club, always providing those things. None of that money comes out of school money. And so that's a real positive that we want to highlight. Now, I will say at the elementaries and at the junior high, we have now the principals, they have Gentlemen's Club and they have Ladies Clubs. I know we've talked about the pearls and different things at the different buildings as well. And so this is a movement that we're going to keep moving forward on, and I'm proud that Mr. Scott was able to highlight that. And just a side note, Adam Price that was speaking, he was our student that spoke at Convocation last year to motivate the teachers. He not only did that, he's also at Boys State right now. We have, I think, 4 or 6, I can't remember, 6. We have 6 boys and 4 girls then. Okay, so we have 6 boys at Boys State, and Adam, if you saw on our website, he was just nominated mayor of his city at Boys State. So we're just mayor of his city. So we're still there right now, so maybe he'll make governor too. We don't know. It'd be nice to have a Humble student make governor of Boys State, or a lady make mayor or governor of Pearl State. The next item under student support is the cell phone free practice day, Pine Bluff High. This was based on our committee that came together that we wanted to run a practice using the Yonder pouches. And so tomorrow at Pine Bluff High, our students are going to be utilizing the Yonder pouches as a practice. We also have created a survey for students to take after they get their phones back on how the day was and what, just different things like that. We really do want to get some feedback from our students. And so this is going to be with our kids at Pine Bluff High tomorrow. You'll see in your packet about alternative learning with our MOU with Arkansas River. And so alternative learning are what we call our academies. We have the Focus Academy, the Flex Academy, and Explore Academy. But what I do want to share with you that I think is really a positive thing that we're not highlighting enough, we know some students need an alternative learning environment. That's where they work best. However, what we're doing as a district now at our building levels is really providing more support to all of our students so that we do not have to place them in alternative learning environments. We're able to keep more students on site and provide those services to students at the school site. And so what you'll see is actually in the MOU is a reduction of the seats that we purchase through the co-op because we're able to actually keep more students in school. And specifically, there are students that have behavior disruptions as well. So those, we've been able to make more accommodations for them in the district. And under student support as well, we earned a new 21 CCLC grant for another after-school tutoring. So currently, what we had were 2 elementary schools were provided after-school tutoring, and now they wrote Miss Smith and Miss McMurray wrote a grant, and now all 4 elementary schools can be supported in after-school tutoring through this grant, which will serve 155 students, and that's for next school year. So we're pretty proud of that. Under stakeholder and community success, Dr. Rice, you mentioned it. We had a very positive Pine Bluff High School graduation. It was amazing, the support of our families that were there, and our students, of course. Our students are great, but they actually were able to be highlighted because there was no distractions from anything other than it was their night. And I was so proud of the partnership that we had with UAPB, the UAPB Police Force. They had all their support to help us and just being kind and supporting our community. And so I was just, our school community, I was just so pleased with that. The next link is Gun Violence Awareness Day. This is the 2nd annual, I think, or yes, the 2nd annual, and this will be on June 6th, Friday, June 6th from 11 to 2 at the Convention Center. This is really positive. And even yesterday, Judge Brown texted Mr. Carlock and I just shared that we're getting recognition from people from other states about the fact that we are now in Jefferson County over 500 days without a juvenile homicide. And that's a big, we said we were going to stop counting, but it is still a beautiful thing, and it's reflected in our schools as well as in our community, and so we're proud of that. And then last, under stakeholder and community engagement, if you don't mind clicking on that one, Mr. Sims. In the month of June, there will be the Zebra Athletic Club is sponsoring their 2nd annual Zebra Golf Tournament, and that's June 20th. We have this information on our school Facebook page, and we'll keep sharing it. This event last year raised enough money to support our state championship basketball rings, They purchased those for our basketball team. They've also utilized money to purchase different things throughout every athletic club. This supports all athletic clubs, not just football or basketball. It's girls sports, boys sports, and so this event is a really positive thing that we're excited that they're doing for our students. And that's my update.
All right, thank you, Superintendent Barber. Any questions, comments, concerns from board members regarding the superintendent update?
I had one more update.
Go ahead.
I'm so sorry, I didn't put it in there. As far as, remember, board, that you guys, we signed a resolution that says that when we have a board-to-board transfer, you give me the authority to make that transfer, so students don't have to wait till the next board meeting. But it is required that I provide an update on that. You don't have to vote on it or anything like that, but I will say we had one student that missed the school choice deadline of May 1 and requested a board-to-board transfer. It's a student that actually lives on the line close to Woodlawn School District. And they've gone to pre-K at Woodlawn School District, and so the student is entering kindergarten, and so that student wants to stay in the Woodlawn School District. And so we did the board-to-board transfer.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to new business.
Under new business, the first item is approval of electronic funds transfer, which is we call an ETF authorization. Under the ETF authorization, this is for us to be able to make direct deposits, so we don't have to cut the check but of course it all goes through the process of having approval through me. It never just goes straight there. It goes through that. So we went with Elior, who is our food service provider. We cut a check to them. However, this would make it where we could just do the electronic funds transfer. And then what you will see is we would also like to have you all fill that out so that when you have travel reimbursements and things like that, we can send that directly to you instead of having to cut a check. So we have that form for you. So I'd like permission for those electronic funds transfer.
And I'd like to say that's a good idea. Because I don't know if maybe y'all thought we were getting $1 million or something, but we don't. But I think when board members spend their time using their vehicles to travel to these locations, and being reimbursed for gas, I think that'll kind of streamline the process a little bit. Thank you. All right, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the electronic funds transfer EFT authorization form.
So moved. Second.
Moved and properly second. Ready for question? Any comments, concerns? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye for me. All opposed say no. The ayes have it. Thank you.
The next item we have is the community eligibility provision. So Pine Bluff School District has, every 4 years, we can apply for this. And what it is it's for every student to have free breakfast and free lunch. We've always provided that. Now, with the new law that came out where all students would be providing free breakfast, it still wouldn't affect us. We wouldn't get any more money for that because we're already getting that type of money. That money's going to other districts that didn't have it already. So since we provide that, I'd like to continue have it being a CEP district, and it'll be for the next 4 years.
All right, at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve to continue community eligibility provision, CEP. We move to private second. Ready for question? Any comments, concerns? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye for me. All opposed say no. The ayes have it.
The next item, what you'll see is approval of the Arkansas River Education Cooperative Consortium. And so these are the consortiums that we enter in for early childhood special services. So the first one that you see is the early childhood special services. And for that, we are simply a pass-through. We get the money from the state to provide early childhood services, but the services are actually being provided by the co-op. And so we serve as a pass-through. The money's sent to us and we send it to the co-op. But it's obviously over the threshold. And so since it's over the threshold, I still have to have permission that we send that money. So that's the first one. The second one is HIPPY. And so the HIPPY is a grant that is written, and there's so many slots across the state. And according to the slots that we've been allotted, this is what the total contract would be for our HIPPY slots. It is our responsibility as a district to pay for those because we want to continue to participate in HIPPY. We've used ESA money in the past, which is restricted funds, but this school year we were able to use Title I funds because Ms. Smith was able to look, because it is about a parent intervention and parent interaction with their students at home before they enter school. And so I'd ask that we continue with that. Now, we don't provide the services, we pay the co-op to hire those people to provide the services. So it is at a lower cost than what we would have to pay to actually employ someone. And then the last one was the one I spoke about in my update. This is our consortium for our academies, which is our alternative learning education services. And so I do want to bring to your attention that the 5th through 8th grade slots, last year we paid for 25 of those slots. I'm asking for 30 because we have more students at that middle level that are needing more support than the high school level. The high school level, we purchased 40 slots last year. I've reduced that by 10 to 30. And in the Flex Academy slots, we've reduced that from 30 to 20. We're keeping the same amount of our Explore Academy slots because we have our students in the 8th grade and a lot of them would still want to transition and keep that same environment in 9th grade, and so we're trying to keep those slots for them. I will share that we are able, if we're not using slots, what the co-op will do, since it's a consortium, Watson Chapel, Stuttgart, Whitehall, and Pine Bluff all are in part of this, and so if another district needs a slot and they don't have any, they can buy that slot from us. And so actually this school year, we sold 11 of our slots from last school year. So that's why we're reducing slots as well. So I'd ask for permission for all 3 MOUs.
All right, at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion for approval of Arkansas River Educational Cooperative MOU, Early Childhood Services, HIPPY, and Focus Flex Explorer.
Second.
The move to proper second. Any questions, comments, concerns? I have one. On the HIPPY, where do those funds come from? I don't know if you mentioned it.
Title I is where we pay for them out of this school year, and in the past, we paid for them out of ESA, which is the restricted 2281. However, we're gonna budget to continue to pay for them out of Title I. We do not keep the data, but the co-op provides us the data on those students because they're required to put it in a certain system. And so we have access to the data. As far as effectiveness, it would just be students that participated in it and possibly how they're performing in school, but they do not track it as well as it has not been provided as well as I think. What we do have data that shows these students were in HIPPY and now they're in our either pre-K or kindergarten program.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye for me, all opposed say no. The ayes have it. Thank you.
So the next item that you see is the purchase of professional development for, lost my board packet, for 95% group this summer. And so there's 2 purchases. One is for $15,000, but it's all of a certain grade level for that one day. And then the next one is for a second group of grade levels for another $15,000. So since they both cost more than the threshold together, I would ask for permission for that. This will be paid for also out of Title I money.
All right, at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion for approval of 95% group professional learning contract. Then move to private second. Ready for question? Comments, concerns? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye for me, all opposed say no. The ayes have it.
The next item you have, and it's a large purchase, but it's through Capturing Kids' Hearts. It is for training where we have the new training for all our new employees that will go through it. And then we have a reboot training. So there'll be 6 sessions of a reboot training for those that had been through it last year, and it's a 3-hour training that we're gonna schedule for our back to school for those. Then we have this year, they come more on site, where they're coming on site and doing specific training with us there. This is all gonna come out of federal money, our 1003 grant money. It'll be distributed across the building levels.
Would it be possible for us to purchase more than 1 year, or was that just?
We did 1 year last year, and this is the second year, yes.
All right, at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve Capturing Kids' Hearts Year 2 professional learning. We move to private second. Any questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye for me, all opposed say no. The ayes have it.
And the next item, board, this was what Dr. Cola mentioned earlier. So the warehouse, which is It's actually the old post office that was in downtown Pine Bluff, kind of over there by the Reynolds building, the new Reynolds building. The district, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how we gained it, but the district gained it. And we've had it for a while, and we use it as our warehouse. So part of the roof is a pitched roof, and the other part is a flat roof. And where it was a flat roof, it is leaking terribly on, and we use it to still store canned goods for our cafeterias. We have 2 walk-in freezers in there. We have different things, and so as part of Department of Health, we have to make sure that everything's up to code. And so we're asking, we had them quote the entire roof, but after doing observations, and Dr. Cohen walked through it with us, the whole roof doesn't need to be repaired. The pitched part is still fine. It's the flat part that's leaking, so we're gonna repair just the flat part. And I say repair, it's a whole new roof for the flat section of that warehouse. And so we have 3 bids. Coriel had the best bid, and it is a 20-year warranty.
All right, at this time, I entertain a motion to approve the Courier Roofing partial roof replacement for the warehouse. Been moved properly seconded. Ready for question, comments, concerns? Good question. Where's the, did you mention where the funds are coming from?
Well, that'll come out of 5,000, which is our, yeah, 5,000, which is building, but it's not the building fund. Give me a second. I've lost my thought process here. Let me pull my packet. It's called, I know it. I like it. You stumped me. Capital outlay.
All right.
Thank you. It's our capital outlay fund.
Thank you. Any more questions, comments, concerns? All right, hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye for me. All opposed say no. The ayes have it. All right, thank you very much. At this time, board members see a need to go into executive session to discuss personnel. Is there a need to go into executive session to discuss personnel?
I will share with you on the personnel action chart, what you will see are the retiring employees. Then you will see our certified hires, but I will share that among those certified hires, they're replacing a teacher that has either left or a position that we were never able to fill. By hiring these, we still have, and of those, I will share, which, because I'm very proud of that, of those, real quick, 10 of those are already certified teachers. And so, as we're recruiting certified teachers, so that's a big positive there. We still have a need for special services. We're still looking to hire special services teachers. And we will, after this, we'll still have 10 positions that have not been filled, and most of them are selective positions, like a CTE, like welding or auto mechanics, and then of course we still need an art teacher. So those selection, we're still looking for those. We have some history positions too that are still open at the junior high.
All right, then I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the personnel as submitted by Superintendent Barbary. Moved and properly second. Ready for question, comments, concerns? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Aye for me. All opposed say no. The ayes have it. Thank you very much. This time I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn. Second. It's been moved and properly second to adjourn. Ready for question, comments, concerns? All in favor say aye. Aye for me. All opposed say no. Ayes have it. I want to thank you all for attending. I want to thank our community, the YouTube, and our supporters as we continue to be professional, polished, and poised with student success in mind. So, thank you. You have please have a safe evening.
Go home.